Hey, welcome to the Leadership Lab podcast, where we're developing the heart and soul of leaders. My name is Jeremiah.
And my name is Bianca. And in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about increasing your leadership capacity.
Yes.
So we are two different types of packers. You pack a certain way when you're going on a trip, and I pack a certain way when we're going on a trip. And one of the things that I love, that I take advantage of all the time, is that extra little zipper that takes a suitcase and expands it to the next level. I love it because if I need a little bit of extra room, then I have a little bit of extra room. You're a little different than me.
I am a little different because I like things to be nice and tight where they're not going to move around and shift a lot. So I like to get it packed even with that extra level open and then zip it down and squish it nice and good.
You like to squish
when you're getting that zipper, it's nice and tight. Oh, it just feels like nothing is going to shift around on me.
Yeah, I don't like things I don't like things packed in there like that. I don't want it feeling like sardines. I want my stuff to be able to breathe and
just loosey,
not loose. I don't want it moving.
All
no,
around.
Not flipping all around, but that it's not getting squished. It's not getting compacted in there.
I can appreciate the difference.
I know that there's different type of packers in this world, but we as leaders, we've all been given that extra zipper.
That's good.
We all have this extra capacity to grow, to increase.
Yes.
And if we want to increase as leaders, then there's some things that we need to put into place so that we don't put a lid on our growth.
So I want to talk about this capacity and as a leader, what it actually means or what it looks like to have an increasing capacity.
Yeah.
And I believe that increasing capacity, first of all, it changes the way you work.
That's good.
It changes what you're actually doing. If you've been doing the same thing for, let's just say, 12 months, and you've not evolved, there's not been some things that have changed in the way that you're working, chances are you are not seeing your capacity as a leader increase. You're not unzipping that next level and letting your leadership expand a little bit, and you're actually not functioning at the highest level that you possibly can. And so I want to encourage everyone who's listening to really think about those areas of their lives that they can actually change the way that they work or change the things that they're actually doing.
That's good.
Because increasing capacity means that you can actually increase your workload.
That's good.
You can make a larger amount of work get done with many times even less effort.
All right.
Because as your capacity increases, as you lead more effectively, you're going to find yourself that you're actually changing what you're doing, and you're no longer doing what you've been doing.
Okay.
But now you're empowering other people to do what you've been doing, and now you can focus on new things that you want to have as your work.
And you're more efficient. You maximize the time that you're given, and you're just basically multiplying who you are because you do more.
Yes.
Another way that we increase our capacity, it means that there's a range in abilities.
Yes.
And I think that we should be growing in our abilities over the years.
Yes.
So things that I used to do 10 years ago, I should be able to do more than I used to do.
That's good.
And I love to look at leaders that are able to lead in different capacities. One of the examples is our worship leader right now. Mm-hmm. He not only leads worship, he leads us in worship, but he's also a pastor.
Yes.
He pastors people. He also makes sure that details get communicated. Mm-hmm. He communicates with people. He makes sure administration doesn't drop. He has these different abilities. And if we're going to increase our capacity, we need to increase our abilities.
Yes.
And look at what the role requires and say, I want to have and then some kind of ability and increase that capacity that way.
That's so good. I think that also increasing capacity, and this is the kind of a long statement, but I want you to follow me here for a second. I think that there are things that I used to do that I no longer am doing, and now I've discovered there are new things that I have not yet started doing that I realize I need to learn how to do that.
Okay.
Because as your capacity as a leader increases, you actually stop doing things.
Yeah.
It's not saying they don't get done.
Right.
It's saying that now you've multiplied yourself in the lives of other people, that now they have a place on the team. They have a spot to get involved in the vision. And now you're finding and discovering as your capacity increases that there's a whole nother long list of things that I haven't even scratched the surface yet. I haven't begun to do some of those things that now I know I need to learn how to start doing.
That's good. And if you come to a place in your leadership where there's some things in front of you that you don't know how to do, you're probably not increasing your capacity.
That's good.
You should always have those moments where you're like, man, I don't know how to do X, Y, Z. But then over time, you learn how to do X, Y, Z. Well, now I don't know how to do A, B, C.
Yes.
I know how to do X, Y, Z, but I don't know how to do A, B, C. So I think that's how we continue to increase our capacity,
Yes.
is that the things we don't know how to do continue to change.
Yes.
And we keep adding to our abilities. The next one is increasing capacity means taking risks. And this is really important. If there are things that we're doing that we're not scared of, that are not new, then we're probably not increasing our capacity. Because the only way to stretch, to go beyond ourselves, it takes getting out of our comfort zones. It takes getting out of the things that we've always done.
Yeah.
And so taking risks and asking God, what can I do that's new, that's fresh, that's not been done before? Or do I need to switch this up and I need to do it an entirely different way?
That's good.
It requires risk. Another one is increasing capacity means that there is failure. That there is failure. There is failure. I think many people think, oh, if I'm going to be successful, I can't fail. And that is the opposite. The people that are the most successful had so many failures.
All right.
They had failures that were on the way to their success. And so if we're not experiencing failures, that probably means we're not taking risks.
That's good.
We're not trying new things. Edison, he invented the light bulb, but he had to try it over 3,000 times to get to where it was. And people thought, how do you feel about failing over 3,000 times? And he's like, I didn't fail 3,000. I was on my way to success. So if you allow your failures to continue to help you move forward, then you're not really a failure. You just had a failure.
That's
but
good.
You're not a failure.
That's good.
You're just on the way to your success story. But that means we got to try new things and not give up even when it doesn't work in that moment. And Jesus, he is the Son of God, and he did this.
All right.
He had 12 disciples, and one of them just dipped out.
Yeah.
One of them betrayed him. And he could have easily said, well, man, if I didn't get all 12, I guess it's not worth it. No, he knew that he was fulfilling his mission, and he knew that one was going to drop out. And so it didn't hold him back from moving forward. And I do want to make mention, there's a difference between drops and failures.
All right, talk to us.
So in an organization, you don't want to be a person that's always dropping the ball.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the person that doesn't get things done. So I'm not talking about, failure means I don't get my responsibilities done, or I seem to always forget to get this done and people are having to leave. That's not what we're talking about. When I say failure, that means you're trying something new, you're implementing something different, and it just doesn't seem to be as successful as you thought it would be. However, you're failing forward.
That's good.
So that's another way to increase our capacity. And then another one is increasing capacity has a willing spirit. There's this spirit behind it that says, yes, I'm willing to do new things.
Yes.
I know over our careers in ministry and what God has been doing, we've done so many different roles. And that's because we have said, yes, we're just willing. I'm like, hey, I don't know how to do that, but that's what's needed for the win of the whole organization. I'm going to do it. Whatever it requires, I'm going to do it. Let me try it. Not even just for the organization. I grow as a person when I'm willing to just try something different than I've ever tried.
And it's something you learn how to do, like how to, what John Maxwell says, fail forward.
Yeah.
It's something that you discover, okay, I'm not going to dwell on how I failed.
Yeah.
But I'm going to think about when I do the next thing, how am I going to benefit from this?
That's good.
And it's important because I was just doing this recently with something that happened with our team and some decisions that I was making, took some risk, stepped out, realized, hey, that's not working right.
Yeah.
Okay, and the very next meeting I had with some of our team is I said, okay, here's what I've learned from this.
Yeah, that's good.
immediately, the very first things that came out of my mouth. Those are the types of things that you can actually notice, like, I am growing, I am increasing my capacity. And here's kind of an idea that I want to kind of throw at you that's kind of got, it's a two-sided idea. You can grow beyond the level of your skills.
That's good.
You can. You can have skills and you can actually grow beyond the level of your skills because you're leading people well.
Yeah, it's good.
But you cannot grow beyond the level of your mindset. If
so
your
true.
mindset is locked into this, and this is what I do, this is the way I do it, this is the way I've always done it, I know it's predictable, I can understand it, I can wrap my mind around it, you're never going to be able to grow past that. In fact, John Maxwell, leadership guru, author of the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership, he has this thing called the law of the lid.
Yeah.
And he said a leadership ability is the lid that determines a person's level of effectiveness.
That's good.
So you've got this lid that you are the lid to whatever you're leading. And for the leadership to grow, for the organization to grow, for the leaders to grow, the leader has to lift the lid.
Yeah.
They have to increase that capacity so they can actually become more effective. And that's what we're talking about in this increasing capacity. We're lifting our leadership ability to the next level so that our level of effectiveness can grow. And if you can raise the ceiling on your leadership ability, you can raise it as high as you are willing to grow.
That's good.
And that willingness to grow, that willing spirit that you talked about is so important because so many people find themselves trapped in an unwillingness to just try something new and step out, take a risk. Maybe you're not going to make it all the way, but here's what I found. When you as the leader take a risk and it doesn't pan out, and then you go to the team and you say, here's what I'm learning.
Right.
People lean in with you.
They lean in with you.
Yes.
And it's not a failure for you to even try something and find out, man, I really stink at that. You know what I find is I find out more about myself even when I do the things that I don't like doing, when I do the things I'm not good at.
Yes.
I think more so than when I'm doing the things that I'm good at.
Yes.
Because I discover, why do I not? And it's such an important part of the journey. But if we stay in our comfort zones, we're never going to discover some of those areas that God really wants to reveal to us. Our next one is that you can't increase your leadership capacity when you make excuses. And I think this is one of the biggest downfalls. And I know I relate to this so much. It is so easy to make all the excuses in the world why we can't do this, why this can't happen. And if we're really going to get what we feel like is in front of us, we've got to say, no more excuses.
No more excuses.
No more excuses.
Great leaders don't make excuses.
They don't make excuses.
You own up to the failure and you say, this is what we're going to learn from it.
Yes.
And you become equipped for the future.
Yes.
And here's the thing. If you have people around you who empower your excuses, you need to find some new people to be around.
You need some new people.
The people that you're around should not tolerate you making a weak excuse for why something didn't work.
Yeah, you need people around you that can keep you in check, saying, "Oh, I don't think that's the right mindset.
Yes.
Can I say something right there?
Yes.
Because you said this, and that doesn't sit right because you're called to this.
Yes.
So I'm not going to let you sit in this
Excuses are like that zipper on that suitcase that just keeps it locked down at that level right there.
Yeah.
You are only going to grow to the level of the willingness that you have to not make excuses.
Yeah. But that's why if there's people in your life, they challenge you.
Yes.
They confront you.
Yes.
It doesn't feel good in the moment, but those are your best friends.
That's right.
They actually have your best interest in mind. It's the people that are like, oh, it's okay. Yeah, they did you wrong. It's there. If you've got people willing to sit on the couch with you and point fingers with you, they're not going to help you get to the next level.
Yeah.
It's the people that are like, get up off the couch. You've got stuff to do. Okay, yeah, this messed up and this didn't go right.
This is what your role was in it. I think that's what the difference between an excuse and owning up to it is this is my role in it. Yeah, there's outside circumstances I can't control, but I can control this, and this is an area where the next time I have an opportunity, boy, I learned from this.
Yes, that's so good. I want to read this quote by Duke Matlock. He said, if you want to increase your leadership capacity, you have to push beyond what is comfortable and do the things you've never done to achieve results you've never seen.
You've got to do things you've never done.
Got it? Yeah. So
Push past.
push past it. If you're
Yes.
doing the same things that you did a year ago,
Yes.
break the script
Yeah.
and do something new. Because if you really want to see something new, you got to do something
That's
new.
right.
And so I want to close with this right here. If you're willing to be challenged, you've reached your capacity as a leader. If you're unwilling to be challenged, you've reached your capacity as a leader. And so we want to invite being challenged so that we don't reach our limit. Increasing your leadership capacity doesn't feel good, but it does good.
That's good.
It doesn't always feel right.
Yeah.
It doesn't always feel like, man, I've got the butterflies. Man, I've got the passion. Man, this feels great. But I know that it's doing something for the better for myself and for others and everyone that I have an influence on.
Yes.
It's so powerful. So I've really enjoyed this conversation with you
Yes.
today. It's been powerful. I believe that there's some truths that we have thrown out there, and we would love to continue this conversation with you. So we'd love for you to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Share this with someone that you think would love to join this conversation. We hope that you'll join us back here next week at the Leadership Lab.